everybody, and welcome to Marina's Movie Club. I am your producer and co-host, Ethan. With me, as always, is my wife and the namesake of the show, Marina. Hi. And joining us today are two very, very special guests, Delaney Buffett and Katie Corwin, the writers and co-stars of a new movie that's coming out very, very soon called Adult Best Friends. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. It's such a pleasure. This is actually our first episode where we've been able to chat with makers of a movie rather than just reviewing a movie. So this is very special for us and our podcast, and we just appreciate you joining us for the conversation. It'll be really fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course.
Likewise, we're excited.
Cool.
Thanks.
We met Delaney at the Bend Film Festival.
Yeah, we met. Yeah, you all came to a screening. I forget which one, but I think we had two. But yeah, we met afterwards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I was excited. Yeah, because I think you said that you all were like because where are you based?
Seattle.
Seattle. Yeah. So yeah, we met there. It's a great film festival. I love it. It's so fun.
Yeah, that was
a lot of great films. Yeah.
Katie, we didn't personally meet you, I don't think, but were you there?
No, I couldn't go to Bend. We kind of like divvy them up. Well, no, Delaney goes to all of them. And then the producer, Marie Nikolova, and I divvy up like who can go to which one where. And I'm based in New York, so that one was just tough to get to and be able to get back for
that makes sense.
Other commitments. But I would love to go. Everyone that I spoke to was like, that's the one you have to go to. Bend is so incredible. And I was like, damn.
Yeah,
I'd agree. It was really great. Yeah,
I know. It was fun. The festival was great. There was a lot of really great films that we saw. We fell in love with your work immediately.
Oh,
you guys were very stand out above everybody at the festival. I didn't see, I guess we didn't check online beforehand. Did you guys get any awards with the Bend Film Festival?
No, we did not.
Oh, sorry to bring that up.
We're not. No, it's okay.
You won an award in my heart.
Thank you. No, we've not won any awards. I had gotten like a award at US that I had known technically that I was going to get. That was like a emerging artist filmmaker award, but we've not gotten any awards. I don't think we expect, to be honest. Like, I don't think we went into this, and this is like saving face now, but truly, I don't think we went into making this believing we would ever make I think we were scared we wouldn't get to film festivals because it's hard to program comedy. That's like more straight comedy, not, dramedy. So I don't think we expected it. I think we I think maybe we were like, oh, if we get one, it's audience award, but that never happened.
Well, you won the Marina's Movie Club staff favorite.
Yeah.
Thank you. Finally, some people with some taste.
We wanted to get you guys to get to know you a little better. So, intro question. You're invited to give a TED Talk about anything that you feel like you're an expert on, but it can't be movies.
Or
what are you speaking on?
Movie adjacent.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
Mine would be the Bravo universe, specifically Housewives, but also some other shows.
Funny.
I think I could do that very well.
So you specifically Housewives? Is that what you said?
Have you seen a TED Talk?
It's going to be a packed house. Well, it's a study in psychology, sociology. Sure. So yeah, I'd bring those lines through. Not specifically the Housewives, although that is, the foundation of my knowledge. But Summer House, Winter House, Southern Charm. I don't discriminate.
I love it. Delaney, what about you?
I'm trying to think. It's a really good question. I want to say dating, but my dating life is not like a positive experience. So I'm giving advice, but I'm trying to think. Yeah, maybe that, dating in the modern. You're looking at me like, I'm not married. It's like those influencers that are like, okay, this is what you need to do. And I'm like, wait, you're single too. Why am I taking your advice? I don't know. I think I'm saying that because we're writing something about dating right now. But I'm super into I think Katie and I are both into psychology. And I think that's for her, she always jokes about, and I was not into Bravo for a long time, but how it is a case study. And so I think for me, it would just be dating in the modern world and how it's changing, which is not a great.
I thought you were going to say dog training.
I know that was my second thing.
Yeah, she's so good at it. I thought it was like, here it comes. It's totally going to be this.
Better.
I mean, no, both are good. I'm just
dog
surprised
training.
You're so good at it.
I taught it's dog training. I love training my dog.
That's so fun.
He knows
what kind of dog do you have?
Tricks.
I have a King Charles Spaniel.
Oh, that's
so cute.
So I go on YouTube and I train her.
It's so cute.
That's awesome. Does she have like a standout trick that you're really proud of?
She dances. She does kiss now, which is like she jumps up and kisses you.
I love it.
And then she does dance.
Bang.
She just bang. She's very food motivated, so I don't know if she's like a genius, but she's just like, if I pull out a treat,
it helps.
She's like, I will do anything. I think dog training, you're right, Katie. That's better. I don't know why I said dating. I think it's just.
No, you could do both.
I really don't think I could give a dating advice thing now that I'm really letting that sink in.
That's awesome. We have 2 cats, and we successfully trained one of them, who's very food motivated, to sit and shake.
No way.
Yeah.
He's very smart. The other one,
I've never seen a cat do that.
Smart.
Me either.
Yeah, one's
kind
very
are they?
pretty. Oh gosh, I don't know cat breeds.
Strays.
Yeah, one is like a white and orange short hair, and then the other one has like every color, and she has like a longer coat. So I don't know. Somebody can tell me what my cat is, but for now I just call them.
They're orange.
Yeah, we named them Ginny and Ollivander after the Harry Potter characters. So we're big Harry Potter nerds. It's fun.
That's sweet. It's so cute.
Yeah, it is great. So, okay, going back to your expertise in movies. We loved the film. I wanted to hear it from you guys. Maybe give everybody in podcast land a brief overview of what the movie is, maybe like a log line, like the plot, all that kind of stuff.
You're better at that.
All right. The movie is called Adult Best Friends. And the log line is that a woman, me, struggles with telling her lifelong best friend, Delaney, that she's getting engaged. So she takes her on a trip to break the news, but things don't go as planned. And I would say a little like a step back from that is it's a comedy that kind of explores what it's like when you have a childhood friendship and you are now adults. Like, how do you kind of edit the relationship or let it grow with you as opposed to just kind of leaving it in childhood?
Yeah.
Perfect.
I love it. It was such a fun film to watch. We were laughing hysterically. And this was also one of the first times that we had the opportunity of like being in a packed theater in a really long time because COVID had just emptied and drained the theater industry. And since coming back, it was so fun, especially with a lot of other people who were equally as passionate. Mm-hmm. And I've had such a fun experience just hearing everybody in the uproars. And you guys write comedy so well. So really well done.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
it's so fun to see, like, because we're not doing a traditional theatrical release. We're doing like a series of special screenings, like in a few different cities. So it's such a valuable experience for like a smaller film at festivals to be able, especially comedy, to see it in a theater. And that's been amazing because every place you go, it's kind of a different, there's different laughs and different moments. But similarly, like, I've not been to many theaters. So just like the theatrical experience is so great. One moment. Hey, and then it's in the room. Do you mind shutting the door, Jasmine? Hold on, my roommate's listening to TikTok videos, and I don't know. Hold on. I'm just shutting it so I can hear your TikTok.
Oh yeah,
just scroll.
It's okay. Sorry. I was listening. I was like, I don't know if you can hear them, but you're like live. You're talking, and the door is open.
No, I couldn't hear him. You're good.
Okay, good. She was like, "Oh, sorry." That's our mutual friend from high school.
Nice.
That I live with. But sorry, yeah. And so I think it's so like to watch any comedy, and I think that's what we love, and it also is just a learning experience to like see what lands, what doesn't land, unexpected laughs.
Yeah, people laugh and it's like not a joke. We're like, what the? Like,
that wasn't supposed
what was
to be
funny?
Yeah, what's so funny about that? But yeah, and that's like I think that's so great. That's why it's like hard. I think comedy is super hard to distribute and do things like it's so subjective. And different people like different characters in the movie, and they like some of them love one of the characters and they're like, oh, I didn't like that character. And you're like, wait, what? Like, how could you not like that character? But then I think of, you know, what I like and what I watch and the differences I have of my friends who love certain shows and I don't. So that's something you really learn where you're like, okay, I can't take anything too personally because I think about how I react to things and people don't agree with that either. So that's been a learning curve to not take things too personally.
Yeah,
it's like my favorite. I don't know if you guys watch comedians in cars getting coffee.
Oh, I've seen that a few times.
So like
Will
Jerry
Ferrell?
Seinfeld, he's interviewing Will Ferrell and they're talking about what it's like having a what's the word?
Test
I can't think of it
screening.
now. A test screening, and then you read the notes, and it's like the first half are like, I like Will Ferrell, like I think he's really funny, and then you get to the halfway through the pile, and they're like, I don't like Will Ferrell, like he ruined the whole thing for me, and like every single person's like, no, I hate, like it's just so different and so like severe. They're like, you know what? I think I actually don't care.
No.
Yeah, it's like reading the comments online. You gotta parse your pacing for that, and just everybody's a critic in their own way.
Everyone's a critic,
Yeah.
It is crazy. Like you hear a lot of good comments, and you're like, oh, thank you, and then one bad one, and you're like, huh.
Yeah, should I just go be an Uber driver?
What do you think of all day? Well, that one seems to have taken root in my mind.
Oh man.
Oh. You looked at me like you wanted me to start.
I feel like I'm hogging the mic, so you can check.
Well, I guess on the opposite end of the spectrum from comedy and going more into like the heart of the film, first of all, I feel like Ethan and I talked about this so much about I literally felt like this was my life as I was watching this. Obviously.
In a good way.
Yeah.
Marina doesn't do cocaine.
No, I was going to say.
Neither do I.
Probably similar to you guys. Like, it's obviously a dramatized version of your life, but there was just so much truth to it. And I think I also experienced this, like, changing of not really a childhood best friend, but, like, best friend before you get married. And then how that changes as you get married and, like, just being in different life stages.
Yeah.
And I haven't like seen that in a film before or like related to a film this much.
Yeah, because we met Marina's maid of honor was her sophomore year college roommate. And the three of us became like a buddy trio of just hanging out together all the time. And then we got engaged and married. And I think we were all like, do we all hang out in the same way now? Are we all going to be best friends together?
And like we moved.
We moved away.
And there's just like a lot of life changes that change the way that you have to adapt your friendship.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I just, I guess. That's just to say that I'm related, but.
It always makes us, I think we always love to hear that because that was like our goal was to have it resonate with people. And like we'd said, and we've said this in other things, but it is nice to like, we wanted to be like more of a universal feeling of moving on and how do you handle it? And not necessarily having to move on, but finding a good balance. And I think for us, like a lot of unexpected people have come up. I remember there was like a really funny person who like left a theater. Our friend was like, he's like this very like tough dude, and he was like kind of like tearing up a little bit, and I was like, that's unexpected. Like I did not think that person would resonate with us at all. But so it's nice to hear that because it certainly was emotional for us making it at certain points, but also equally as fun. But I think it's a lot easier to we talk about this a lot, but it's like a lot easier to structure a comedy around an authentic relationship, just so it doesn't feel like sketch comedy. Sorry, now I'm rambling and I don't know what I was saying, but I was just thanking you for your compliment and then also saying I'm glad you resonated.
I think something that we didn't mention yet was, so Delaney, you were the director, producer, star, writer, and Katie, you were the writer, co-star, and with that, you guys, you've known each other for a really long time, right? Since
we like in the movie, we really did meet when we were
23
10.
years.
That's crazy.
Which is weird because I'm still 22. Really don't.
Don't know how that works.
Okay.
So, but I think your guys' chemistry off screen lends itself to be so authentic on screen as well. And I feel like it was just so. And there's a level of like, in one sense, you have great acting and you play your characters well, but in another sense, I could tell that there's a deeper level of like you're not acting sometimes, and like your friendship was just truly there. So that authenticity, I think, was played out really well in the film.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. We definitely went back and forth on if we would be in it. I have always wanted, I mean, I've acted in the past, not in like this kind of level. And I've always wanted to do more, but it's obviously like extremely difficult.
Yeah.
And Delaney hasn't acted as much, but like, I always knew she had it in her, and like we would do like little things together. But when you're making an indie film, it's every single turn is difficult. And basically, if you can get an established actor for any role, it like greatly increases your chances of anyone seeing the movie, of the movie even getting made. So by having ourselves be the two leads, it was, a lot of people were basically telling us not to do it, send it to someone else who's more established, and if you're lucky, they'll do it. And ultimately we were just like, no, like it's our story. It's literally us. I mean, we've changed parts of it obviously, but if anyone can play it with the authenticity and like the heart that we as the writers want to see in the scenes, like it has to be us. So it was touch and go there for a moment, but I'm glad we did it. And like you said, there's a lot of parts that we are playing different versions of ourselves, but a lot of the time it rings so true when we were filming it that it was really emotional.
Yeah.
And I think it's helpful, like, to have, like, adding on to that, like, we were discouraged to be in it, not by a lot of people, but yes. And I understand because it is a business, but it's like, you might have less resources, but then you get to make more of, the movie that you envisioned. It's just a lot more difficult. But I also think it helps, like, for us, we always like, well, there's a story behind the story. We are actually friends. We did actually go through a version of this, and I think that helps too, because that's like the driving force. It's like, a great, like when you watch a good movie or read a good script, like there's a meaning, there's a purpose behind it. And I think it was really helpful for us to start with that purpose and sort of build a story around it, because it kind of kept the heart at it the entire time. And because it was us, like we were less likely to stray from the deeper meaning of it. Because I think with comedy, it can really go so many ways where you're like, I don't really want to like, be emotional today. I don't want to focus on the sad stuff. Like, I just want to do really funny things. And it's like, no, I think every comedy has like truth at the center of it. And so for us, we always had that at the beginning, and it was very nice to have that as like a guiding light, so to speak.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's one of the standout unique things about your film, and thinking about what gave it its strength was also that authenticity in relationship. But I think that's the thing that stood out to me the most, was just how fun it was to watch. And it felt like I became your friends, and we all like went on this journey together as I was watching. And that was just so fun. And I feel like it was one of the things that brought it to the masses and allowed it to be so, I would call it successful. I feel like you guys premiered the movie at Tribeca. And that was fun fact. Marina went to these summer camps growing up, and they had to do these camp names. And Marina's camp name was Tribeca.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's chic.
It is chic.
And I just think it's like it holds so much weight. And that was how was Tribeca, and how was it to premiere your movie there? And it just seems so cool.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, it's great. It's awesome to be in New York City too. It's like it's a real experience. Like, we were there in June, and a bunch of the cast and the crew came, and we got to go out to dinner and have drinks, and it was amazing. And we got to meet very cool other filmmakers and see their work, and still have seen them, and also like you start to see the same people at these festivals, and it's super fun because like you get to see their movies, and then like you get to see them. Like, a lot of them find success outside of the festivals and get a lot of recognition that they deserve, but you get to like see it all kind of early and get to know them as people. And again, it's always interesting to see the person behind the movie. So that's just a surreal experience to, one, premiere there, but two, it's just like you meet all these amazing new people that you wouldn't necessarily get to meet if you weren't there. So that has been super fun to sort of like build relationships with people like on the festival circuit and at these smaller festivals and get to see like their incredible work.
Mm-hmm. So this was both of your guys' first feature, correct? Mm-hmm. So can you talk a little bit about what it was like to work on a feature, both writing a feature, directing a feature, and acting?
I would say I thought it would be hard. It was much harder than I even thought. After the first day ended and we were in Mississippi and I called my husband who was in New York and I was like, whoa, this is going to be a slog. Like, this is hard. I mean, Delaney can speak to it more. Delaney was, just a master. Like, everyone was balancing so many jobs and she was doing that and like emotionally carrying everyone on her back, just like doing it with a smile. She can speak to that a little bit more. I would say it was really difficult. We are so lucky to have done it with our friends. The producer, Marie Nikolova, is also a close friend and she was just like a bulldog, like getting everything done. And we would end the day so tired and so stressed, but it was just so much more enjoyable to do it with each other. Mm-hmm. And it was hard. Yeah, that's the only way I can say it. Delaney, you probably have more interesting things to say.
No, it was really hard. I agree. Like the first day when it ended, I thought I was like, I think adrenaline keeps you going, but because I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to sleep. I don't know how I'm going to eat. And I didn't really do either of the two. And it's I think it's such a rewarding experience because you don't go any day without feeling completely and totally fulfilled. Like, wow, I maximized that day, at the expense of your mental health sometimes. But I think having people around that you trust is so big on something that is difficult and lower budget. And when you're doing a lot of jobs, because it's like, they have your best interest at heart. That you can trust that they'll get the job done as well. So you don't have to, I think directing and acting in something is something I don't know if I would do again at this with that thing, just because like, like at some point during prep, I had prepared like more than I thought I could. And then eventually you just have to be like, okay, like someone needs to take over my producing part so that I can focus on the directing part. But then you get on set and you're like, okay, well, no one can take over the directing part when I focus on my acting part. Mm-hmm. So you just have to have people around you who are just supporting you and like picking up slack. And, there's a lot of things that there's so many questions that you have to field as a director. And that was one thing that I was not prepared for. So I kind of had to like develop a mechanism along the way of like answering questions one at a time. Because it's like, where do you want this? Where does this go? Like, where do you want this extra? Like, should they be in this shirt? Like the people aren't happy with the craft services. Like the randomest things. You're just like, okay, how do I mentally prioritize what needs to get done first and like develop a method that like I can actually lead a set in a way that is both functional, but also not just burdened with stress, because it's so stressful.
Yeah.
And everyone's just like, and you're just like, calm down. Like, you're freaking me out now. Like, so I think like keeping an environment where it's like, it is the hardest thing, like to keep a steady head, but it's so important and it makes the day go by faster, because if you have high stress, just leads to a lot of yelling, and then it's an unpleasant experience for everyone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I've never been in a circumstance where the screaming and stress makes me work better. So I feel like the benefit, though, I think, of what you guys did was you had, from what I understand, it was a lot of your friends came together around this film because they were your friends. It wasn't like the film brought this new family together and you became friends through the process. It was friends, then movie. So I feel like, how is that like? I mean, even starting this podcast, I was like, Marina, I don't know if we should work together. Maybe we should keep family and hobbies and work separate. And but what was that like for you guys? Because I think like I had mentioned earlier, that was one of the benefits of what came out like true to life in the movie. But I would imagine that was also one of the hard things.
Yeah, I think. Go ahead, Katie.
No, I mean, I think you'd have a better perspective on it because you're, as the director, you just like have your hand in like literally every aspect of the movie. I would say that I think it certainly helped at least like off hours, like you are able to keep morale a little bit higher because at the very least you can laugh with your friends. And then also we just benefit from, there was no time for anything. So there were absolutely no rehearsals. So you at least like have a chemistry going in because you know the person, more than 5 minutes, which I think was helpful. But if you're the boss, like Delaney was, I'm sure it also can be difficult because you're like, all right, you're my friend, but like move.
Yeah, I think like each person I was friends with before in a lot of different roles, and so I don't want to ruin those relationships. So stakes were higher too. So it's like they're my friend, I'm not, and like if they got out of hand, I didn't have to be like, hi, like listen, I was like, hey, like I don't know what's going on right now, but like we need to like finish this, and like there's no need to do this or that, or like I could be honest, and if there was something I saw that I didn't like that was happening, we had a very civil conversation as friends at the end of the day.
That's cool.
First. And I think, again, when you're working with friends, like there is also like an honesty that's allowed where it's like, you can be like, hey, like stop. Because there's no, like, you don't have to beat around the bush. This person, kind of their triggers and what they react to. And I even like our cinematographer, Jessica, like we had a very honest conversation, and I knew things that frustrated her, she knew that things that frustrated me, but we both had a very open communication of like, hey, like I'm feeling like I'm not getting enough support here right now, or hey, I didn't like how like this was approached yesterday. And I think like a huge thing was like we all wanted to communicate with each other because we were always wanting to hang out after set. So it's like we would want to be like, what can we do to make this a more fun experience, because today sucked.
Usually not.
Usually not, but just
usually good.
A very, very, very fun set because of that. Like, I think everyone had a really nice time.
That's
but
cool.
I mean, sucked in that, like, the process could have gone a lot smoother, and there's things that each individually we could have improved on if we each take responsibility. So,
yeah,
I think that's like with everything, communication was very key.
Delaney, I would definitely listen to your relationship TED Talk. That was really good.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't. See, maybe I'll give a friendship talk. I don't think you're giving dating advice. I have great friends. I have the best friends. I have terrific taste in men generally. So I don't, Is anyone listening out there?
I hope your exes listen
together.
I'm going to send this to your exes.
I'm just kidding. I have very, I do not like confrontation, and I do not like any sort of conflicts. No, I have great relationships with all of my exes, but I think I'm better with friendship, honestly.
That's fair. I think I was really impressed. I think, Delaney, probably the only way you could have had more hands on the direct roles that you had was if you put the camera on a selfie stick and just shot it on your own.
Yeah, that would have been bad.
Would you suggest, one, like you talked about it being difficult and needing to answer questions one at a time, but if anybody else is kind of in this maybe like a lower budget situation or wanting to kind of pick up their passion project and just put it all on their shoulders, what was something that you took away from that process of being so involved in every role and trying to kind of do a lot of things on your own at the same time?
I think I learned my strengths and weaknesses very quickly. And when you're taking on those roles, I think I learned like how I am as a producer and a director and an actor. And I think there are so many different kinds of directors, and I did not go to film school. I'm not a technical director. I care less about composition and what the frame looks like. And maybe because I love writing so much more about story and character and tone, and performance. So I think that is something I learned about myself in the process that I kind of knew going in. So I would say, like, if you're going to carry everything on your back, be open about that. Cause like I kept saying to my cinematographer, I'm like, I am going to probably prioritize performance and comedy over composition and then a lot of the technical stuff. So I need help. I'm weak with that. I don't know a lot about lighting. I don't know a lot about the camera. I've shot stuff myself on smaller things like dock things, but I don't know how to set up an Alexa. So I think it's like, if you go into this, just be very, very transparent about what you feel your weaknesses are with your crew that are closer to you so they can do their job. And in the end, that's their job. They're not there to just like be moving puzzle pieces. Like her job is to support, and her job is she's the director of photography. So it's like, and I had never done a feature with a lot of costume design. So our costume designer Fatima, I was like, I've never done this. Like, so I just need support and like think, just like I'll like communicate with you what I want emotionally. And like, if you could just tell me how that works. So again, I really think it's like recognizing what your shortcomings are. Therefore you can use this process to like know yourself better, but also improve upon that. Because I think a lot of people want to go in and be like, I remember like the worst thing that ever happened to me is the first short documentary that I did. Like I hadn't gone to film school, so I bought a bunch of books and we hired this like you're smiling, Katie, because I know you know what it is.
My favorite. I love this memory.
Do you want to tell it?
No, please. You're doing a good job.
And so I bought a bunch of books and we were going down to Florida to shoot it. And she like went to AFI and NYU, and she's an incredible cinematographer. And she's super funny. And we went down and my backpack was open and I had like a bunch of books. And then she was like, whose book is this? And it was Directing for Dummies. And he literally was like, and I have lost faith in the entire crew in that one moment.
Oh no.
No one's.
I was like, that's not
get in there.
But it was funny. We laughed. And then like from that moment on, she knew that like I was new to this and that was okay. And she would have to be more hands-on with the camera work. And and again, like I think a lot of people are afraid to like act like they don't know what they're doing. But I think there is a way to balance. Like I
being authentic. Yeah,
being authentic and being truthful, but also being like, but I'm here to work and I do want to set examples and I do have a lot of strengths, but I want you to recognize weaknesses so you can help me. It's a collaborative process in the end. Sorry, that's a long answer. I totally forgot about the dummies thing until then. I haven't told anyone that, I don't think. So.
Sounds like it's straight out of a sitcom. It's like it's
so funny.
Too scripted to be real. In the future, I guess for both of you, since this was your first feature and you probably, like you had said, Delaney, learned a lot about yourselves and your strengths and weaknesses along the way. For future things, are you planning on doing more features? Are you planning on directing or acting or writing again? Do you want to wear multiple hats? Are you going to just stick to one thing and be a part of an orchestra?
I mean, definitely more features. We've written more. We have 2 that basically are finished that we're just kind of thank you, that we're like fine tuning and thinking of how to actually execute. And certainly writing more. I would love to act more, produce more. I'll let Delaney answer, but I know she wants to direct more. So that's the answer. I would say Adult Best Friends was our way of getting our voice out there in a way we could control, because it's so hard to get anything made. At least also anything made that you can still creatively control. A lot of times the trade-off is it gets made, but someone else wants you to change, A, B, and C. Yeah. And since this is our first thing that we made, we really want it to be like a good representation of what we want to do. So hopefully after this, the features can have higher budgets and higher production value, and we can, just take it to the next level, but definitely more features. And we'd love to do TV.
Yeah. And I would love to direct more. And I think I want to act. I don't know if I want to act in things I direct until I am more well-versed in both of those things. But I think I want to direct more. And you get so excited because you learn that was our first movie, and there are things that I would have done differently or things that could have gone smoother. And, you look back and you're watching it and you're like, oh, damn, I wish we hadn't, whatever. But it's like so exciting because when you leave, you're kind of so pumped up. You're like, okay, I want, give me another shot at it. And I think we can make it better this time and hopefully with more resources. So I think we're both really excited to just sort of use this, like Katie said, to get our voice out there, but also as like learning experience to make the next thing we make better and bigger. And we love comedy. And so to be able to make a studio comedy that, you know, is authentic to our voices would be a dream come true. And I think we would love, you know, any great comedic actresses to be in that. Because we love comedy and it's fun to make and it's fun to do with each other. So,
yeah, I think it's really fun that you had so much wrapped up into this. I would imagine that it's kind of like your baby being your first feature and having so many hands on it. But I think Marina, we met in film school, and I know that Marina wanted to. I guess you went into it feeling like you wanted to probably direct, and then seeing, I guess, two women kind of being in the shoes that you were hoping for yourself freshman year, stepping into that. What's the connection for you like?
Well, I learned very quickly that I did not want to direct, but I ended up doing more production design, and I think especially just as a whole at the Bend Film Festival, there was a lot of female filmmakers, but then to see you guys have like a hand in every part of your film and do it so well, I feel like from my experience in the film industry, it was not great being a woman. And there was like a lot more problems that like I had to deal with versus, you know, other people. So I think it is very inspiring to see people like do it and do it well. And I guess also, do you guys want to speak into like how, I don't know, your experience as woman on set or with this movie or before this movie?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, you know, from the beginning when we started making stuff, like we always wanted to surround ourselves with female filmmakers, whether it was a DP or sound, and that was super important to find, because I think it's also a thing of like, you don't see it that much. And I PA'd on some things and Katie was acting and things. And I think on set, you're like, yeah, it is a male dominated industry, but I think it's been so great to work with people and also like you work together and you know, bring each other onto different projects or seek the advice of other people or, you know, and I found that like our set was like we hired a lot of female department heads, but then the people that they hired who I had no part in hiring with the department were also females. And it's interesting. You don't see as many female key grips or many gaffers or sound and stuff. And so it's like for us, that was the majority of our set was female a lot of the time, but it's because other females are hiring other females and making a difference and trying to make a safe space and a space that's fun. And I think that's sort of what I've learned and seen, and it makes you feel really great, is that there's other women looking out for you and hoping to have the same goal you do, which is to have a, you know, I love, and by the way, I love working with men. I think it's like, it's equal, it's fun for me, but like in my experience personally, I think when there is an equal amount, when there are different people on a set, it's so much better because it's just like you have people from every different walk of life contributing, laughing, you know, getting advice from, so you're not in like a bubble. And I really like that. And so I think on our set, like there were so many different kinds of people, and we shot in Mississippi and we shot in LA. So it was just like a hodgepodge of different kinds of people. And I just think that's more fun, to be honest. It's more interesting. It adds to the story. It rounds the story out. They're able to contribute their opinions, which are very different from mine or Katie's, or they're similar. So it just rounds out a story. It rounds out a crew, and it rounds out an experience more. And I think seeing that, particularly on this movie again, it was, I don't want to work any other way. And I've worked so many different ways in the past, but it was a very positive collaborative experience for us. And Katie, you can speak to it as well. But
yeah, I mean, I I definitely think I'll just speak to it as just an actor, like from an actor's perspective. Um, there's so much, when you're being mic'd, usually the sound person's like going up your dress, like through your bra, and it's like they're totally professional. I'm fortunate enough that no one's made me uncomfortable in that way, but it is a little more comfortable when it's a woman.
Yeah.
And same with wardrobe. Like it's just a little bit more comfortable when it's a woman. And even outside of those departments, when it's a more evenly mixed crew and cast, like any job, even in an office, like if it's 50% men and 50% women, then half the office is thinking like, you know what, maybe she needs a mother's room, or you know what, like maybe I should, like it's just occurring to them where it wouldn't if, it's just something you never thought of before. So it definitely makes it more comfortable that, half the people there are like, oh, she might need to change, like maybe we should like all leave. As opposed to being like, oh God, like I just totally didn't even occur to me, because you can't empathize. So yeah, it definitely makes a difference.
Yeah, that's really cool.
And I would assume also, like, just with the story being about female friendship, like it makes it that much more important to have more females on set to like speak into that, and also understand that in a way that, not to say that men can't relate to that, but for this specific story, just being able to, do their job, I feel like just that much better because of the shared experience.
I think totally. But then also to Delaney's point, like we didn't want to pigeonhole the story to be just about female friendship. Like we're very proud that, we are women and it is about a female friendship. But at the core of it, I think it is about like, when you are close with someone and your lives start to diverge, is there a way to preserve the friendship on its own? Or if you aren't similar anymore, is it over? And whether that's men or women, whether it's kids getting married, getting a job somewhere, just different interests, or is it important enough for you to make the time to even have the friendship live, maybe on its own independently? So it was helpful to have a diverse set crew and cast there as well, to just, if someone else was like, I actually does kind of remind me of my friend, and it wasn't a female friendship, I was like, oh, all the better. Like, great. So you can relate to it too. That's awesome.
Yeah. I think that's one of the ways that I connected to it most as well, because I remember when I was a kid, I met my two best friends when we were in kindergarten, and we're still best friends today. So that was 20 some odd years ago. But then on top of that, we used to be friends because we liked the same toys, and we liked doing the same things on the playground. And then over time, it's like not only do our interests change, but we change as people. And I'm married, they're single, we're on different sides of the country now. And it's just like how they, or I guess you, on screen were able to like navigate that was, I think, universal. And it was helpful to, it's one of the things that I get so emotional in movies, just because I feel like every movie is about me in my life. And I'm just like, oh my God, wow, how did you know? That's crazy. But I think it is a testament to your film also. But I guess for you guys, getting to know each other at 10 years old and then growing up, not only having that experience that you portrayed in the movie, but also working together and having your own personal lives outside of it. Did you guys feel like you had a similar thing, that was there this like milestone marker where there was a divergence, and then you kind of had to work through it similarly to how you did on screen, but with less hilarity and drama?
Katie got married and I didn't.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Sorry. No, I'm sorry.
It's really rude, Katie. I have to think of Delaney when you do that.
Absolutely. I think it was like 3 years ago. I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago. But anyway, when Katie got married, I think at her wedding, it hit me. I was like, oh, wow, like we're growing up. Like you have a partner, and I did at the time. But I was like, you have a partner, but like that's so odd. Like now you're going to live with this person and be with them. And like, where do I fit in? And it wasn't ever contentious at all, but it was just sort of something that crossed both of our minds. And so I think it was like, we adjusted to it, but in a much healthier, grown-up way than that's on screen. Because again, like those two characters are very extreme versions of ourselves, so they're going to handle it in very extreme ways. But we both are quite therapized and and have been together so long, like been together. Whoa, that was a slip. We've been friends for so long that, I think that we, the stakes were high but it wasn't at all like it was portrayed on screen, but certainly we we've gone through ups and downs throughout our lives. But we always kind of work it out.
Yeah.
I would say also from just to color the entire story, from my perspective, it was my getting married was not like a moment of, what's this mean for me and Delaney? Like, not at all. Like it's not even a question. Like, it would literally, at the risk of sounding like I'm in love with her, it would literally be like, well, that's my right hand. Like, I don't function without it. So like, it's not.
You're going to trigger the comments again.
Yeah, seriously. Their YouTube comments be like, let me guess, they're in love. We're like, just friends. But it is like I think you get a lot of anxiety growing up about friendships. Will it last? Won't it last? Are we, how is this going to happen? Once you remove the like guesswork, like that was never a question. We're going to be best friends. So it's just a matter of like how we divvy up our time and how we make it work. And it kind of makes it a lot less anxiety inducing when you take out like the maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Well, in the film, I think I have two of like my favorite moments. One of them I connect to really well. Is because there is a setting of you guys get out of town so that Katie can break the news to Delaney. And when you arrive at this Airbnb, the Airbnb host is outstandingly overbearing. That was I haven't had like an overbearing Airbnb host, but we one time have this like Airbnb nightmare story. And then as we were watching your movie, we turned to each other and we were like, oh my gosh, that's just like when we were in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And we had we were at, I forget what we were doing out there, but I was supposed to book a hotel room pretty far in advance, and I swore that I did it. And we walked up to the check-in desk, and then I said, yep, where's my hotel key? And then they said, you're not on the books. And I thought it was their fault. And then I got really embarrassed when I figured out it was my fault. And I never hit purchase, but it was a whole thing. Scrambling, I was like, okay, well then could I just, get the hotel room for tonight? And they were all booked, and all of the hotels around the area were booked because
there were like 3 athletic conferences or something, like all these different things happening. So there were 0 hotels.
Yeah. And then we ended up needing to get an Airbnb, tried to find the cheapest one possible. At the time, we had just started watching Breaking Bad, and Breaking Bad takes place in Albuquerque.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's this Airbnb that is like Breaking Bad themed, and it was also the cheapest one.
It's kind of fun.
And I was like, oh, that's kind of fun.
Yeah.
That is fun.
Yeah, I like that.
Well, so we thought it was fun. We end up walking in. The lock doesn't work on the front door. So that was sketchy just to start. And then the whole apartment is a meth lab. Just like there's meth pipes all over the place.
You mean it's
not
like
actually a meth lab.
It's made to be. Yes.
But,
yeah.
That would be a little bit different if it was a real meth lab.
Yeah. It's not a real meth lab. It's a little too themed.
No, but it really did feel like too themed. Like they put too much effort into it. They had like hazmat suits, and they had Walter White's like big scary gruff face just like staring down at you while you lay in bed. And we tried to get into bed, but there was like hair and crumbs in the bed, and the dishes weren't like, there was dirty dishes out, and there was mold in the bathroom.
No.
Yeah.
And they were like, it's a part of the set. It's a part of the set.
Yeah. It's Jesse Pinkman's house. He's going through it. Anything clean?
Nothing. Well, and I think that was like one of the, I don't know. We booked it same day, so I don't know if he was like, oh, someone's going to be in my apartment tonight. All right. And then just left. I have no idea what happened.
Aaron Crumbs. I'm still stuck on Aaron Crumbs.
It's nasty. So we ended up calling Airbnb, and at this point it was like midnight, and we were like, can we please stay somewhere else? Like, can you hook us up somewhere? Can we get a refund?
Please.
For the love of God. And they were like, yeah, just stay on hold. We were on hold for maybe like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And
at this point, we moved into the car because we were like, the lock doesn't work and we feel weird about this. Yeah. So we went and we were just sitting in like this empty parking lot on the phone. Yeah.
And then
it's like 2 a.m, I think, at this point.
At 2 a.m, Airbnb finally picks up the phone and they said, hey, we're going to close our call center. So I have to go home. We can't help you tonight. And then we were like, well, okay. And then
so what'd you do?
They hung up. We ended up finally finding maybe a total of like an hour drive away from where we were supposed to be staying. We found an airport hotel that had an opening and stayed there for the night, but we ended up going to bed at like 3 a.m.
Yeah, 4 or 3. God, that's the worst when you walk up to a lobby and you're like, yes, I have a reservation. And they're like, no, you don't. You're like, okay.
Yeah. You're just going through your email like, I know I saw it. Like,
I was embarrassed. I felt so bad that I made us do that.
It's terrible. And also, like, there's so many, like, we were joking, like, we were going, because we're going to Houston tomorrow for screening, and I was picking out an Airbnb, and, like, it just, like, the comments and the reviews and some are like so there was no privacy. Like, you watched through the window and you're just like, I wouldn't have read them. I would have booked it. And Katie was like, no, we need to check these out.
I always read them. It's always like 5 stars, incredible stay as long as you don't mind being watched. I'm like, whoa. Like, you have to read them. They're extremely important.
Very, very important. And then we found one and I was like, this seems harmless, but like, who knows? But again, it's like
hit or miss.
Hit or miss.
Yeah. Well, Katie, so you have an Airbnb experience that was true to life, and then you kind of wrote into the movie, right?
Yes, it's inspired by true events. It was an Airbnb that my husband and I had for like a long-term stay, and it was a private space, like independent. Like you should be. I want my host to be a roomer. Like, I don't want to see you, hear you, like, in a private space. So I'm paying a premium. And we get there, they're there, they have the key. So we're like, oh, hi. They actually were messaging me when I landed. They're like, where are you? I'm like, we just landed. Like, she's like, all right, well, I'm waiting. It's like, I wish you weren't. We get there. It is not a private space. She's in the room next door. She just like locked the door between us. It's almost like a railroad style. So you can like hear her all around. She wears flip-flops. So you can hear her flopping all around. And then she'll like pop her head in. And it was like, do you mind if I grab that hamper? And I was like, I mean, I'm using it. And so, but I'm like such a pushover that I was like, no problem. And I dump all my dirty clothes out like on the ground to give her the hamper. She was always popping her head in. There's a strict no shoes rule, very strict. There was a no guest rule. There was a no everything rule, truly a no everything rule. It felt like she was with us. And it was the first time I'd ever used Airbnb. And so when you check out, you leave a review. And I didn't know if she could see my review before she left her review. And if she left me a bad review, you can like never book again.
Yeah, right.
So I was like, oh God, okay, like I'm just gonna have to be very kind of covert with my review. So I gave her a good review. This is why you read them. I was like, excellent stay. The host is extremely present and hands-on. Which makes for a like very collaborative experience. Like something like that. So like if you read it, you'd be like, sounds like this person's like in the living room. But yeah, I was too scared to like say like 1 star. Like literally was like staying in bed with us. But it was, I mean, I've had that kind of experience a lot of times. I feel like people need to know that like just having the space does not make you a qualified Airbnb host. Just like having free time does not make you a babysitter. Like it's a certain personality. There's a certain set of skills. It isn't for everyone. Like
you're running a hotel and you're not running your college buddy who's coming to stay on your couch. Like totally different experiences.
Yes. Yeah, it needs to be clean. It like needs to be, and like you're paying for a cleaning fee. I'm like, who's cleaning?
The cleaning lady. That was her. She took the cleaning fee, and then she told me the cleaning lady is coming at noon, and I walked in like kind of forgetting, and it was her, and I was like, I mean, that's fine, but like, what did I pay for? Like,
oh goodness. This also reminds me, my first apartment that I got on my own. I had dropped out of college our junior year, and then I got this little unit that was above the garage of someone else's house. So I had my own space, but she also lived there. And the rules in the rental agreement were wild. They were like, no hanging things, normal stuff like that. But then also you can't have more than 2 friends over at a time. And there is like, I forget the other ones.
She also owns like a security company.
Oh, that was the weirdest thing.
So she had security cameras everywhere. and you would like see them moving. So it's like, she's watching.
There was one time where Marina and I were having a really
so creepy.
I know. We were having a really rough day, and then it was, one of those
crying.
We drive up and then we're just like, I think both of us were crying and just like I forget what even happened.
Yeah.
But
we were like in the car.
Yeah, in the car. And then we just slowly see the security camera just like turn away from us because they wanted to give us more privacy. And I was like, what would have been better is if you didn't turn it at all, so that I didn't know that you were watching me cry in your driveway.
They message you like, everything okay?
Also, can I borrow your laundry hamper? Is that fine?
Yeah, also you mind?
Oh, man. No, but I think, again, one of the many awesome things that you guys did in your movie was just making it so relatable and so fun to watch. And I feel like that was just one of my favorite parts about it, was just being reminded of my landlords and my Airbnb experiences and my friends. So that was really great. One of the other really, I think, highlights was, oh my gosh, I'm forgetting his name off the top of my head. The guy who played he played Spock, which was awesome. But then
Zachary.
Thank you. His performance was hilarious, and I loved every minute of it. And I think you guys have a clip on YouTube of one of the scenes where he's talking to his wife, who's like a therapist, and Katie, you're over with your fiance, and that was just so funny. And that's, I guess, one of those things that, like, I'm sure there's some aspects where being married to a therapist is kind of like, there's a line where like you maybe shouldn't talk about some things, but I don't have any of those experiences that were like relatable to that effect. But it was one of the funniest things that I've ever watched.
I'm glad you like it.
Yeah,
He's so funny in it. He helped us like develop that character and wrote it with us. And when he came on set, Katie and I were. Katie was like, "It's him. It's Henry." Like the character.
Yeah, he just came into character. I was like, he's here. Henry's in the room.
And he like he had a mustache grown, and like he'd picked up these clothes, and
so awesome.
He had his improv, like, which you can't keep all of it in. It was so connected and in character and so funny. Everything he said, like, I think he improvised the chubby hubby line.
Oh wow.
He improv'd a lot.
That's cool.
He's so funny. He's so funny.
He plays serious roles, but he's so hilarious. And he would improv, and it would just kill me. But that was like one of the days where I wasn't in any scenes, and I was so excited because I got to just watch. I got to do what I got to like watch and do it. And I was like I was at the monitor, just like, oh my god, he's amazing. And everyone was so good. And Heather was so good. And Mason was so good. And Katie, everyone was so good in it.
That's awesome.
And I think Zach like brought, he does a lot of theater and stuff, and he does a lot of TV, and he's super experienced, and so is Heather. And so like it brought like this very professional atmosphere to set. And Mason and Katie are super funny in this scene too, because it's a lot of it, like a big thing when you're editing a comedy is reaction shots, and you want to make sure that they are in the right place. And Katie and Mason had such great reactions, because it is like, what is happening here?
Yeah.
Like if you are like, that's like, I feel bad for any boyfriend I've ever had at a table with my family when things go wrong, and you're just kind of sitting there like, like you're just completely quiet. And I think we wanted to capture that, and Mason did such a good job with that, and Katie too, of like trying to be like, we're not all freaks, like it's okay. So it all came together very well. And that's like one of those scenes, a lot of the time, like you write something and it comes to screen, it's great, but it's not totally as you envisioned it because of so many different reasons, the elements against you. But that was, one of the many, we were lucky because I felt that way about a lot of the movie, but that was one of those scenes, but it was surreal for me to edit and watch, because I was just like, this is exactly how we pictured it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome.
I would say too, like, I mean, like Delaney said, so like Zach developed that character with us, and we were basically just trying to think of the most maddening sibling that you could have, like someone that's just so frustrating. But so, I mean, I have siblings, but they're not like that. And every single member of my family who has seen the movie has been like, is that me?
Me too.
No, literally everyone. I have a brother. He's like, so that's what you think of me? I'm like, it's not you. It's not you. Like, literally everyone.
That's so funny. I love it. So I've always been curious when someone improvs on set. It's not something that you wrote. It's not something that came up in your mind on paper. How did you go about? I feel like being in the room is so different than watching it back in the edit. Did you feel like those two things were synonymous? Like things that landed on set were things that also landed in the edit and you kept? Or did some of the things feel like inside jokes that you didn't really feel like landed in, and then, or maybe the things that Zach said were funnier than things that you wrote just because they were like in the moment?
All of that. I mean, I think there's so many elements of it, but a lot of it is, there's so many times, and this is like everything Katie and I've ever done, where I'm like, I am barreled over laughing on set. It's the funniest thing I've ever heard. The improv, like I get it in the edit, and I'm like, huh, was I like high or something? Like this isn't really working. Like, and it's still funny, but like you said, it's usually an inside joke, and it's usually funny because of the circumstances on set.
And you're so tired and like over caffeinated that you're just like manically giggling. Yeah. And then when you're rested, you're like, well, that's not funny.
Right. Yeah. But and I think like, again, it's like it feels funny in the moment. It doesn't work with the story. And when you're doing comedy, you have to be careful about just shoving jokes in that you find funny, because most of the time, and then, you know, that's why you test screen and you show people, and like, you know, Carmen Christopher's in the movie, who plays Phil, the dad at the bachelor party. He's so funny, and like we loved him so much, and our producer Marie loves him, and so it was very difficult to edit him because we were so fond of him, and that would just trickle in with everyone. But I think he's so funny. I think our friend Corey is so funny. I think anything they say would crack me up. But then you have to be like, this movie's not just for you and your friends. This is for an audience that has no idea who these people are.
Yeah, right.
So as much as you want to keep all of your jokes in there and all of their jokes in there, and they're really cracking you up, like you have to choose, because then you don't want to like shove a bunch of jokes in that don't work. And you kind of want to make sure that you're choosing your favorite of those funny lines. But a lot of improv made it in. Like Carmen Christopher improv'd a lot. Corey, who played the Dougie character, Connor, everyone improvised. And I'd say we kept a story and script fairly well, but there's some lines, because they're just incredibly funny people, like that Zach and everyone did. And when it fit with their character and it fit with their story 1000%, we're like, okay, that's much funnier than something we wrote. Let's put it in there.
Yeah.
But if it was so funny, but it was like, okay, well, that's like, there was an improv in the Zoom scene. They did improv back and forth, and Katie like couldn't contain herself. I couldn't contain myself. And like, we literally just did our first cut of the Zoom scene was just jokes, all improv jokes that they did. And we totally lost sight of the purpose of the scene. And so we had to go back and re-edit it to be like, oh, we wrote this scene for a reason. It does serve a character purpose. Yeah. Why is it not making any sense? And because we were so enthralled by their improv and their characters and how amazing they were, that we were just like, fuck what we wrote. But then we were like, oh, we have to sprinkle back some of the structure in the scene. And we got to keep their improv. And then it makes you be like, oh, now that I know the purpose, I can pick the best of the best rather than trying to choose a million different jokes that might not land.
Keeping that overarching storyline in mind, and then using the improv as a tool to like serve those things.
Yes, exactly.
That's really cool.
It's tough, again, because like Katie and I both love to laugh, and we love funny people. And you're surrounded by funny people all day, so you're like, oh man, I can't stop laughing. And like, once I get to the edit, this is gonna be amazing. And like, even laughing at each other, and then I'll be watching, I'm like, I mean, she's funnier than that. I'm not very. I was like, why was I laughing? That's not that funny. So yeah, I think it's like in the moment, and you just have to be careful. And you have to have a very good, great objective editor. And that's the great thing about editors. Most of the time, they are that third voice that comes into the room that is like, okay, this is working. I understand that you thought this was funny on set. I was not on set.
And I don't find it funny.
And I don't find it funny. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, if you guys at home listening in podcast land have not been sold yet, I would highly recommend go on YouTube, look at the trailer, look at the exclusive clip. It is a awesome movie. I think it unashamedly is like probably on my top 20 at least of like just movies, period.
Yeah.
Wow, thank you.
I really enjoyed it. It was so fun. We were kind of commiserating that it wasn't out yet because we were thinking like, how can we get our friends to watch this? Like loved
every time there's a special screening, I'm like, how do I get everyone to like road trip to California?
We had so much fun, and I think part of it was the experience at Bend and that film festival, but the other part was just it's a great movie, and we loved it, and we fell in love with you guys, and we were trying to like hypothesize like, can we get like a digital access pass to watch the movie and stream it with our friends live somewhere, and but luckily
if you want to do that, like we could probably arrange that sounds fun.
Oh, yeah. But also, we'd love to support you guys, and you guys at home can also support them by streaming it. I think it goes live February 22nd. Is that the date?
It goes live February 28th. It'll be available on demand, so like TV on demand, so Prime and iTunes, and it's available for pre-order on iTunes now, and then you'll be able to watch it on the 28th. And our website... adultbestfriends.com. What? Sorry. Should I take it back?
Don't go down. Oh, yes.
On our website, there's like screenings if you're in, we're going to Houston and New Orleans, Cincinnati,
Indianapolis,
Brooklyn.
All over.
It's fun to come see it screening, but if not, it's a great movie on your couch too. Yeah.
We're excited to get our friends to see it. So we could definitely look forward to that. Guys, thank you so much. But before you go, I have one more game that I was hoping that we could all play together, because you guys in the movie played a really fun game that Marina and I have been playing kind of ever since. And this is where on Instagram, you guys are on the couch.
It's a fun game.
And you are trying to guess who posted this post only based on their caption. So we dug through and super stalked you guys like you were our exes, and found Instagram captions
this is crazy.
that you guys posted from years ago. And,
oh my God.
So the game is you have to guess whether the caption is from Delaney's post, Katie's post, or someone from your cast or crew.
Yeah, there's a few of those.
Just a couple.
I have the worst memory ever. Katie, you're going to be so good at this. Okay,
so I'm going to try to keep track on my phone, and we'll see who wins in terms of
You look
points.
so excited and so smug right now.
You're like nervous. I'm nervous. I'm like, my God, okay.
Okay. So, again, the three categories are it's Katie, it's Delaney, or it's someone from set. So we'll keep track of how many correct you guys get by the end. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Marina, why don't you go ahead with the first one?
All right. Friends help friends when friends are in need. Hashtag where are the cups? Hashtag where's the cooler?
It's not mine.
It's not mine.
I think it's either yours or Marie.
I think it's Marie.
So you're both saying Marie. Final answer.
If it's me, I'm gonna be worried about.
No, I think it's Delaney. I think it's just from a long time
friends. Ago. How long ago? When I was using hashtags, where's the cooler? Could be some weird thing in college.
It could be when you were a soccer mom for Halloween.
If that's right, you got a serious memory thing.
No, I mean, I'm just maybe because there'd be a cooler.
We're supposed to not be on each other's team either. I think it's me.
Okay, so you're both saying Delaney?
Sorry. Okay, yeah, it's Delaney.
We're both saying it was me. I'm bright red right now.
Yeah,
you're correct.
Wow.
All right. That's 1 point for each of you. Well done.
Oh my God. My hair.
Wait, also, I think that, if I remember, that picture is you drinking out of, it's like a 5-gallon container of water or something like that.
I think it's in Costco. Maybe. I don't know, but it's upsetting that I don't remember.
Oh, that's funny. Okay.
Okay.
What's the next one?
Regressed emotionally, but finally got an air fryer.
Is that you?
I do have an air fryer.
That's you. That's definitely you.
I don't remember that.
I think that's you because Marie doesn't have an air fryer. I don't have an air fryer. And that sounds like something you would. That's Katie.
It does sound like me.
I was worried that you guys would remember all of these things, but I'm glad that we went far back enough.
I could see that as my way of saying that I've gotten older. Okay,
maybe one time it's Katie. One time an ex-boyfriend was like, "You're." What did he say?
Yeah.
It was so.
He said, like, nobody understands. Nobody understands your captions.
Your Instagram captions are very highbrow.
Highbrow Instagram captions.
Is it Katie? It's definitely you.
It's me.
No, it's Connor.
Damn. Wow.
You
guys have similar commenting styles.
That would be my second guess. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
This is a great game.
Keep you
hey, you came up with it. We've been playing it.
Right. Sorry. Edit that out.
Oh, God.
Okay. Trying to look famous, smile like a teenager who's ashamed of her braces.
That's me.
Oh, you know that one.
I remember that one because I still think about that whenever I do a soft smile. It's so like...
There you go. She's famous.
It's so like teenager. Yeah, you purse your lips. Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
That's so funny.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's
Great. Well, 1 point for each of you, right? That was correct?
Yeah, that was correct.
Nice.
Yeah.
because we got that one wrong.
Okay. I'm not a businessman. I am businessman. Hashtag TBT.
That's me.
I feel like it's Katie, yeah.
Borderline unacceptable, but it was a long time ago, and it's a picture of me as a child.
Baby
Yes,
Katie
that
being
is
absolute
correct.
business
Yeah.
man.
Okay. To the Oktoberfest we ain't ever had.
That would be me. I feel like
That's
it's a
gotta be
college
Delaney.
post.
Yeah.
Also correct.
Okay, you guys are killing it. You're on a streak.
I know. Are they just tied?
Yeah, you're tied.
Okay. All right. The aesthetics of the Waffle House are not lost on me.
Sounds like Connor again, honestly, but let me think.
Marie, I don't know if it's, I don't think it's one of us. The aesthetics, it could be mine of the Waffle House. Wait. I know who it is. I remember this post. It's Mackenzie, maybe? A production designer? Or it's Jessica. Or Mia? Everyone went to the Waffle House.
Very confident.
I'll give you the point if you just say which category, whether it's you.
Oh,
or
it's a crew. It's a crew member from.
I think it's Mackenzie.
I think it's Mackenzie, who is our production designer. You're looking like we're getting it wrong, but I because I know.
No, it's
Sorry. Just trying to figure out what I should tell you.
Rachel. It could be Rachel.
Oh, it's Rachel. No.
Mason.
I remember this.
Oh,
I spoiled it. Sorry.
Marina spoiled it. It's
Mason?
Mason.
It's Mason.
Yeah.
Oh, because there was a Waffle House next to our hotel in Biloxi,
And we went.
and that's why I remember being
And people liked it.
And the aesthetics were absolutely present at that Waffle House.
Yeah.
Wow.
And Mason's Instagram does not go back very far, so we had to kind of research. All right.
You're still tied. I think
Yeah,
we'll stop the game when one of you guns ahead. We might be here for a long time.
Next point wins.
Yeah.
Okay. Tuscan chicken sandwich with hand-cut fries.
That's mine from Australia. When I was at the Chili's in the airport.
Wow. That is so specific.
Must have been a hell of a sandwich.
Am I right?
Yeah, it's the lady.
The best part is it's like
Applebee's,
a
I think.
half-eaten sandwich.
Like you went halfway through and then you're like, this is good enough to post on my Instagram.
Yeah.
That's the year Instagram came out. That was like 2012. So I didn't really know
Figuring out how to use it.
Yeah. Airport
Hashtag
sandwich.
hand-cut fries.
Okay. Modesty is the new black. Hashtag ankle length.
Katie?
I think that's me. It's a picture of us all wearing like maxi dresses before they like were really necessarily popular. So we thought we looked like
Talk
really
about it 1
conservative,
second.
but
All right,
we
I didn't
actually
know
just
you
look
were-
normal.
Is
I
that
didn't know you
right?
were so cool and a trendsetter. I think that
That's
is
I'm pretty
yeah.
sure because we thought it was like novel. Like, look at our long dresses.
Is that right?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
We're not as funny as I thought we were.
No, but we're as self-involved with that. You're like, that's me from 7 years ago.
It was August 14th. I was halfway done with my sandwich.
I'm like, I can picture it. My hair's in a bun. Yeah.
Hashtag TBT to my Keira Knightley haircut. ... If you can't make out what my shirt says, quote, rub my tummy for good luck, quote, with a picture of Buddha. ...
Me.
The outfit is made cooler by the denim skirt that isn't visible in the pic.
That's me. I used to have a shirt from Urban Outfitters. I actually have the photo right here.
Oh, you
This
have
is
it?
a photo.
Yeah.
This is a photo that Katie got for
He
me.
looks like Donnie.
That's me, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And that's Katie.
Yes.
Katie got this for me. That's
I love it.
But that's yeah.
I don't know if this game is ever going to end. You guys are just too good.
Fun game.
No, Peter.
All right, maybe we do one or two more. See if try to pick something that
doesn't explain.
Yeah.
Well, it's
something
hard.
out of context.
That's what I tried to do the whole time.
That was the whole thing.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Okay, a study in backlit bedhead.
The in backlit bedhead. Not me. I don't think it's you either.
No, it isn't. But what kind of genius is writing that?
Backlit bedhead.
Backlit
Could it be
bedhead.
Connor? Backlit bedhead. Cassie?
God, I don't know.
I'm going to say Cassie.
I don't think it's Cassie. I'm going to say Mackenzie.
Zach.
Yeah.
I was hoping that would get it.
The artist. So obvious. The artist, of course.
All right. Should we do last one winner takes
The
all?
final one? Yeah.
What are you
Oh, God, I hope it will.
trying to do?
How about this? How about you have to answer differently and we'll just decide whoever's closest.
Okay.
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 Yeah. That's what we'll
Do you
do.
want to choose which one?
Yeah, sure. I'll do the last one.
This is such a fun game.
Oh, okay. If you're a bird, I'm a bird.
Fag.
I like that caption. I think it's me.
I think it's you too.
But you have to answer differently. Otherwise, the game's not going to end. Katie called herself first.
That's
So,
true.
Delaney, who do you think it is?
I think it's Marie.
Drum roll. Oh, wait. Gosh.
Marie, I'll
I
be
locked
furious.
my phone and then I lost it.
I'm 80% sure I know the answer.
What? Wait.
I think it's a picture of a dog, if I'm remembering correctly.
I think it's a beach.
Okay.
Or am I thinking of the Notebook?
You might be thinking of The Notebook.
An old tiny bathing suit with Ryan Gosling.
Where is
It's
it? Oh,
Delaney.
Wow!
Is it a picture of a dog?
I think it is.
I didn't think it was.
I'm
but I
pretty
don't
sure.
know.
Yeah.
So you won, Katie, because you're
I'm
closest.
going to say, Katie,
Oh,
you're
that's
closest.
true.
You're
Yeah.
the winner. Congratulations. Really well
We knew,
done.
we knew you would win. We knew you would win.
We were all rooting for you. We believed in you.
Thank you, guys. I couldn't have done it without Delaney, so.
Well, guys, this was so fun. I'm just so
Yeah,
grateful
thank
that
you.
you took the time to join us on the podcast.
Thank you for having
Especially
us.
our
Of
little
course.
show. This is like a breakout moment for us too.
Oh, wow. Well, thank you for having us. We had so much fun, and that game was amazing.
Oh, no. Hey, props to you for the game.
Yeah.
We loved it.
Thank you.
Well, hey, everybody at home, February 28th, mark your calendars. Get ready. You can watch it on Amazon Prime, Apple TV. Look it up. Adult Best Friends. Make sure to gather your friends together. Watch it. It's a hilarity. It's such a great time. Guys, thank you so much for being on the podcast and sharing more about your experience. How can we keep in touch with you in the future for updates on other projects and how we can watch Adult Best Friends?
You can go on Adult Best Friend. I did it again. You can go on adultbestfriends.com, or you can follow us on Instagram. Mine's just Delaney Buffett. That's it.
Mine is at Katie Corwin _
Love it. And we'll have
Corwin
all
was
of
taken.
these underscore. We will have all of these links in the show notes below, so make sure to go check them out. You can find more about our podcast at marinasmovieclub.com. But until next time, thank you guys so much for joining us, and we will see you later. Bye, Katie. Bye, Delaney.
Bye.